Welcome to Stories Pulse if you're a fan of thrilling and thought-provoking tales. You've come to the right place. This story of mystery and moral dilemmas will keep you on the edge of your seat, so if you enjoy suspenseful storytelling, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like this video, and share it with friends who love a good mystery. Also, make sure to hit the bell icon to be notified about our latest and most exciting stories. Let's dive into today's tale as the sun set behind the towering steel structures of the city, casting long shadows that mingled with the secrets of its inhabitants. Few were as secretive as Jonathan Blake, a multimillionaire whose wealth could buy him anything. Jonathan lacked the one thing he desired most, an heir. Now in his mid-40s, he wielded immense power. His influence spread across industries, yet behind closed doors his deepest desire remained unfulfilled. Years of fertility treatments, consultations, and even prayers had not granted him the child he longed for. He was sterile, and the truth haunted him relentlessly. Across the city, in a rundown neighborhood teetering on the edge of despair, lived the Carters, a family marked by hardship. Benjamin Carter, a factory worker, struggled with endless bills piling up on the kitchen table. His wife Amelia was frail from years of malnutrition and overwork. Their children, especially their youngest daughter Lily, were their only rays of hope. At 15, Lily was bright, charming, and innocent, a picture of youthful promise in a life marred by poverty. Jonathan heard of the Carter family through a friend, a shadowy figure who provided discreet solutions for the wealthy. This friend hinted that the Carters might be willing to make a difficult but lucrative choice for the right price. Jonathan's desperation overruled his conscience. He arranged a meeting under the cover of night, driven by a twisted rationale. If he couldn't father a child, perhaps he could buy one, or at least buy the semblance of fatherhood under the dim light of a single bulb in the Carters' dilapidated kitchen. Jonathan's proposal was laid out. He didn't mince words. He offered the Carters a life-changing sum of money, enough to lift them from poverty forever. In exchange for their daughter Lily, "You'll never have to worry about money again," Jonathan said, his voice calm but urgent. "Lily will live in luxury. I'll ensure she has everything she needs: education, safety, comfort." Benjamin's hands trembled as he reached for his wife's. Amelia, sitting beside him, looked more like a ghost than a woman. The decision was both unthinkable and somehow inevitable. They knew they couldn't afford to say no. Their lives had grown so suffocating that the unthinkable now seemed like salvation. Benjamin looked at Lily, who sat silently, unaware of the gravity of the conversation. Her wide eyes were filled with trust, and it was this trust that finally broke Benjamin's resolve. "When will you take her?" Benjamin asked, his voice cracking. "Tomorrow," Jonathan replied quietly. "I'll come for her tomorrow." The deal was struck, and Jonathan left, leaving behind a heavy envelope filled with more money than the Carters had ever seen. As the door closed, a silence more profound than words hung in the air. Amelia sobbed quietly, while Benjamin held his head in his hands, feeling the weight of his decision crush him. The following morning, Jonathan awoke early, his heart pounding with a mixture of anxiety and excitement. Today was the day his new life would begin. He arrived at the Carters' home shortly after dawn. Lily stood on the porch, dressed in a simple cotton dress, her small suitcase packed in waiting. She looked back at her parents one last time. There were no goodbyes, no tears, only as she stepped into the black car waiting at the curb. Jonathan drove back to his mansion in silence, the girl sitting quietly beside him. His mansion, vast and cold, now felt like a new beginning. He showed Lily her room, a grand space filled with toys books, and a wardrobe lined with clothes she had never imagined wearing yet. Despite the luxury around her, she seemed distant, as if she wasn't entirely present. Jonathan brushed it off his nerves, telling himself that with time, she would grow accustomed to this new life. That night, Jonathan retired to his room feeling an unusual sense of peace. He had bought himself a future, a chance to start anew. He allowed himself to believe it would work, but when he woke the next morning, something was wrong. Jonathan stepped out of his room and walked down the long corridor to check on Lily. As he opened the door, he was greeted by a sight that made his heart stop. Lily wasn't alone. Stay standing by the bed was a man, tall and shadowed in the dim light. Jonathan's blood ran cold. Who was this? Jonathan stepped out of his room and walked down the long corridor to check on Lily. As he opened the door, he was greeted by a sight that made his heart stop. Lily wasn't alone. Standing by the bed was a man, tall and shadowed in the dim light. Jonathan's blood ran cold. Who was this? Panic seized him as he wondered how someone had broken into his home past the guards and locked doors. Before he could call for help, the man turned slowly to face him. Jonathan's heart thundered in his chest as recognition dawned. The man looked exactly like him, an almost perfect replica, but younger, more vibrant, with a haunting presence that sent chills down Jonathan's spine. Jonathan fainted, collapsing to the floor before he could process what he had just seen. When Jonathan awoke, the mansion was quiet. That strange man was gone, and Lily sat calmly by the window, as if nothing had happened. Jonathan staggered to his feet, his mind racing, trying to make sense of what he had seen. Who was he? Jonan stammered. He's not a stranger, Lily replied softly. He's your son. Jonathan froze, his breath catching in his throat. What are you talking about? I have no son. I can't have children. But Lily's expression didn't change. He's your son, she repeated, and he's come to claim what's his. Jonathan's world began to unravel. In the days that followed, the mysterious man appeared again, each time more tangible, more real. He spoke in cryptic riddles, hinting at secrets Jonathan had long buried, secrets about his own past, about choices he had made in his pursuit of wealth and power. As the visits became more frequent, Jonathan realized this was no ordinary intruder. He was somehow connected to Jonathan's soul, a ghostly embodiment of the child Jonathan would never have, the future here had stolen from himself through selfish choices. Lily, too, began to change, her once innocent demeanor replaced by a coldness. Jonathan couldn't understand it. It was as if she too was being consumed by the presence of the man who now haunted their home. Jonathan was forced to confront the truth. His sterility was not a biological condition, but a curse placed upon him by forces he had long ignored. Years ago, in his ruthless pursuit of success, he had made a dark bargain, sacrificing far more than money to secure his fortune. He had sacrificed the ability to love and be loved, the chance to build a family. The man haunting his mansion was the embodiment of that curse, a reminder of the life Jonathan had forsaken. Now he had come to claim what was rightfully his. In a final confrontation, the strange man revealed the full extent of Jonathan's curse. You thought you could buy your way out of fate, the man said, his voice cold and distant. But some things cannot be bought. Some things must be earned. Broken and desperate, Jonathan begged for mercy. What do you want from me? He cried. I'll give you anything, just leave us alone. The man only smiled, a cruel, knowing smile. It's not about what you can give me, it's about what you've already taken. You stole the future, Jonathan. You stole the love that could have been the life that was meant to be. In one last desperate attempt, Jonathan tried to drive the man away, to reclaim his life. But it was too late. The curse had already taken hold, and there was not escaping it. One stormy night, Jonathan vanished from his mansion, leaving no trace behind. Guards, staff, and even Lily searched for him, but he was never found. Some say he was consumed by the very curse he had unleashed, that the mysterious man had finally claimed him. Lily, now alone in the vast mansion, became its sole inhabitant. The fortune Jonathan had amassed was hers, but it brought her no happiness. The once innocent girl had been changed forever by the events within those walls. As for